Loyalty360 would like to welcome you to an upcoming webinar titled Give Your Loyalty Program an Annual Physical with a Loyalty HealthCheck, presented by Aimia on October 1st. We're here with Manu Sarna, Aimia VP of Loyalty Strategy and Analytics, and Jesse Grittner, Aimia's Senior Director of Loyalty Strategy and Analytics. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
So can you give us just an idea of how important is it for marketers to give their loyalty program a checkup?
It's really important. It's a very big line item for a lot of marketers, as you probably well know. So really making the most of that asset, really sweating it and getting it to be very profitable for you is essential. And the fact is that things change over time and you need to keep that thing nice and fresh. The same way that you get your car tuned up, the same way that you go to the dentist, you need to treat your loyalty program in the same way and give it a good health check every so often.
And is it common for most brands and marketers to neglect their loyalty programs in this fashion?
We see it very frequently, in fact. We sort of refer to it as the set it and forget it, right? People put a lot of time and effort and energy into designing and then launching the program. They'll often come out with a big splash, and then once it's there, they tend to leave it in market and assume that it'll continue to run the way they need it to. The problem is that the context changes. So competitors may change, or the programs that the competitors are offering might change. Consumer expectations change, right? So just think about what's happened in the last few years in terms of digital engagement and expectations around the user experience. All those things are changing all the time. If you're not revisiting the program and making sure that it still meets that changing context, you're at risk of becoming irrelevant.
And what are some of the key areas of focus that will really help webinar attendees give their loyalty program that competitive edge?
So we try to take a holistic view, right? We really want to be 360 degrees about thinking about the program. And the way that we do that is looking at it both from a business perspective, so understanding the program structure and operations and financials. We also want to look at it from a member perspective. So how easy is it to join? Once you've joined, how easy is it to earn and accumulate and then redeem for rewards? What's the experience like at every stage of that process? What we find is that you also ultimately need to really put both of those pieces together to ensure that it's attracting and motivating members to behave the way you want them to and delivering the financial value that you're looking for from the program.
All right, great. And what are some of the benefits of balancing the internal and the external perspectives of a loyalty program?
Sure, it's really about finding that sweet spot between the two things. So quite often, companies will focus only on the external perspective. So what the consumer sees, feels, hears about the loyalty program itself. The fact is that you have to kind of look at the operations internally as well. And there's lots of things tied up in that, whether it's liability management, whether it's how you actually financially model this thing through and look at the breakage. All those kind of smaller elements that quite often get passed by. Give you a great example when you don't get the balance right. We're working with one client at the moment. They're bleeding $2 million a month on their loyalty program. You look at Rogers in Canada, which just this week announced that they were closing down their loyalty program because customers weren't getting value from it. Those are two companies that have got the opposite ends of the spectrum in terms of that balance. Getting it in the middle, that's where the sweet spot is and that's where the value lies.
That sounds great. Well, thank you so much for taking the time today, and we look forward to learning a lot more on October 1st.
Thank you.
For more information and to register for this webinar, visit loyalty360.org.